everyone, I'm back for another video. I know it's been a while, long time no see, I'm sorry, but right now I'm working from home, so I have a little bit more time to film things and edit things and post things, and I have a couple of video ideas lined up, so hopefully my channel won't be as dead as it has been for like the past year or however long it's been. To be honest, I have been filming videos, but I just have never edited them or posted them because I don't know, I just didn't. Sorry. So before I start this video, before I launch into this video, I do just want to say that I know that things are really difficult right now. I'm in a very fortunate position to be able to work from home and continue my work, so I'm really thankful for that, but I know that a lot of people are not able to do that. Whether you're an essential worker or whether you've lost your job as a result of the pandemic that's going on, this truly is a time that, like, I haven't lived through, and I know a lot of people, I guess, living haven't really lived through unless you experience the Spanish flu, and it's to see the world sort of shut down like this and to see everything that's happening, it's really, really disheartening, and I hope that I hope that everyone's staying safe and staying positive. If you're an essential worker, thank you for doing what you do. We can't thank you enough. If you're a healthcare worker, you're really helping to keep society going right now, and it's so important. And if you are able to work from home or stay home, please do, because that's the best way that we can help to stop this virus in its tracks and get back to life as we know it. So thank you again for watching this. This video is meant to be a little bit of escapism from everything that's going on in the world right now. I know I could use it. I've had to stop looking at news headlines and looking at the world counters of cases that are happening. So I hope you enjoy, and if there's more content that you want to see from me, please let me know in the comments down below, or to the side, or wherever YouTube decides to put them in the future. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you stay safe, stay positive, and stay home if you can. So today's video is a bag collection. I've never filmed a bag collection before, even though I've done videos of a lot of the bags that I've owned. In this collection you'll probably see a lot of things that I've mentioned in videos before but are not here, because usually when I film a bag review it's because I'm about to sell the bag. So this is actually stuff that has stayed in my closet, or has managed to stay in my closet. I'm going to try and go in chronological order, so from my very first bag to my most recent purchase, and some things will get a little bit fuzzy in between because I really don't remember sort of where. I guess ones in the middle got a little bit fuzzy because I don't know what order I bought them in. To my knowledge, this is the order that I remember buying them in. And apologies if my hair and makeup looks a little funny today. This is the first time I've actually done it in weeks, so to get dolled up for this video is a little bit different for me. So the very first bag I purchased, probably like a lot of luxury collectors, and it's kind of the reason I got this first, is the Louis Vuitton Speedy 30 in the Monogram canvas. This was, as I mentioned, my very first bag I bought, and when I was first sort of envisioning what my collection would look like, I looked at a lot of blogs and YouTube videos. Like, was YouTube a thing back then? It was like just starting. God, I'm old. I looked at a lot of luxury blogs and stuff, and like, you know, the articles that say like 5 handbags every woman should own, or like how to start your luxury handbag collection. And of course the Speedy 30, or I guess any Speedy, is at the top of the list, specifically Monogram. And at the time I loved the Monogram. I loved that the vachetta would patina. I think when I purchased it, it was around $750 Canadian, and I don't know how much it is now. I should probably look that up, but I'm pretty sure it's over $1,000 now, so it's not the worst of the price increases that I'm going to get to on this list, but it's quite a bit, considering that was only like oh god, how old am I? Like 8 years ago? 2012, 2011, did I buy it? Anyway, I finished my internship and I was just about to graduate school and I was going into my last year of university, and this was just sort of my little treat to myself for working over the summer, and it was just the thing to kickstart off my collection. And I remember the day like so well. Like, I went into the Louis Vuitton boutique that was on Bloor Street in its old location at that time, and there was an elderly gentleman who was my SA at the time, and he was so sweet. I think he saw that it was like my first designer purchase at all, and he just did everything to make sure that it was like such a great experience. He was so kind, so sweet, and was so willing to help me with all my questions, and the large amount of time that I spent looking at this bag and trying things in it. And yeah, I wore this bag like every day since for a while when I first bought it. And it's made in France, so that is really cool. I love how it's sort of patinaed over time. So if you've purchased Louis Vuitton in the past, you've seen brand new Louis Vuitton bags in the boutique. The vachetta is basically like white, like it looks almost white. It's a really, really, really light beige. And I've always loved the look of a really well-worn, well-loved Louis Vuitton with vachetta, like this beautiful honey vachetta, or even darker. So I really wanted to see that happen for this bag, and when I first got it, I actually started to tan it a little bit, so I'd leave it out on my bed and I just like let the sun go onto the leather, because that's one of the ways that it will tan faster. So now I really love where the color is. It's like this beautiful honey color. So I don't know, I know it will just continue to get darker from here, and I don't know, I guess I'm sort of looking forward to it. Like, I think like an old Louis Vuitton still has that amazing appeal. That being said, I don't really wear this bag that often anymore. I think a lot of luxury YouTubers I've seen who've talked about their Speedies like just don't really wear this bag anymore. And I think one of the reasons for me is that I'm not as big a fan of the Monogram. Like, I still I still do theoretically love the Monogram. I think it looks really timeless. I mean, like, when I see that picture of Audrey Hepburn in the airport wearing this bag, I'm just like transported back to all those feelings of lust that I had for this bag when before I bought it. And in some ways I still do feel that way, but I usually go for smaller bags these days. I don't like the Monogram because it's so sort of loud and what's the word? Loud and like outspoken. Loud and outspoken. So I don't know, like, I don't think I'll ever sell it. Plus it'll be really hard to sell it because I was dumb and got my initials monogrammed on the bag. I don't know why. And I don't know, I guess I was sold into it at the time, but it's going to make it a lot harder for me to sell. And it does hold sentimental value because it was like my first bag that I ever bought. So I don't know if I ever will sell it, but right now it's not getting as much use as I would like it to in my closet. Okay, so the next bag that I purchased was the Chanel Medium Large Classic Flap in lambskin. Now this is a vintage version. When I was deciding, I knew that I wanted a Chanel flap as part of my collection. It was going to be my second, or it was going to be the next bag after the Speedy. At the time, when I was looking at them in the boutique, they were around, it was just over $4,000. I forget how much exactly, but it was just over $4,000, or around that price, in around 2012-ish. At the time I wanted a lambskin bag, gold hardware of course, but lambskin was what I wanted. I thought that for Caviar I'd get a different bag. So this was my plan, to get a lambskin black medium large flap, and I felt like if I went the vintage route then I could save a lot of money, because $4,000 was a lot to me at the time. It still is, who am I kidding, but like for me then, it was hard because I wanted all these other bags I wanted to buy, and I knew I just couldn't get everything I wanted. So I decided to go the vintage route, number one because it would be cheaper, number two because I knew I wanted lambskin, and I felt like because lambskin does scratch more easily, it's a little less durable than the Caviar. I thought that like if I were to get a scratch or something or some sort of a dent on my brand new lambskin Chanel bag that I paid $4,000 for, I would like not be able to live myself. It would be like the worst feeling ever. So I thought like if I went the vintage route, then I could have it would have a little bit of love already, and I wouldn't feel so bad if something if I did something to it like that was relatively tiny. So I purchased this from a Japanese luxury seller on eBay. This bag is made in France. It was made around 1992 or something, so I was like 2 years old. If you know me at all, like Japan is like my favorite country in the world. I also love France, so to have something with a little bit of Japanese heritage and a little bit of French heritage was just sort of like perfect for me, and I really love that about it, and it's really special to me in that way. It's a little bit, I don't know if the camera will catch it, but it's a little bit brown looking, so the leather's fading a little bit from the black, so it could use with re-dye, and so I'm looking into that. That being said, as much as I love this bag, I don't wear it as much these days. I used to wear it a lot. These days, not so much. To be honest, I'm just scared of the lambskin. Even though it's vintage and has a little bit of love, like I'm just always scared of the lambskin, of damaging it, because it seems so delicate. Going back, if I were to make this decision again, I think I would go for the Caviar and just splurge on that, because it was, I don't know, I feel like I'd wear it a lot more if it was Caviar and it was a little bit more carefree. That's really the main reason, but I still do love this bag. Again, the fact that it has like that Japanese and French heritage makes me love it, and I think it is like unique, and yeah. So I kind of go back and forth sometimes on whether I want to sell this bag and get the Caviar version instead, but the price increases are absolutely insane, so that's the main reason that turns me off. Plus I do love that this bag has like Japanese and French heritage, which is really important to me, so it's going to stay in my collection for a while as my sort of second like designer bag that I've ever wanted and ever got. The next bag that I purchased was my Chanel Jumbo Caviar leather with gold hardware. I saw this bag and it was part of my vision board collection because I loved the hills. I was obsessed with Lauren Conrad, so this allowed me to live my Lauren Conrad fantasy realness, and I love this bag. Looking at this bag, like I still love it, but I don't wear it that often these days. This was the very first Chanel bag that I purchased in the boutique, and even though it's had some some quality issues, like when I first bought it, about a month after I bought it, the stitches started to, here, let me show you. So about a month after I bought it, the stitches, I forget which side it was on, but the stitches here started to pop, so that this double flap was coming away from the back flap. It was very obvious just a month after I'd bought it. So I took it back to the boutique and they were able to fix it after one time they called me and said, it's ready. And so I ran in to go pick it up and then they said, oh, it's not ready. We don't know where it is. Come back. And then I came back like a couple weeks later and then finally it was back in. So I don't know what happened there. But I'm just glad to have it back. I don't wear this bag as much these days, sort of for the same, oh, I messed that up. So I don't wear this bag that much these days, I think because sort of the same reasons as the Speedy, it's a little bit ostentatious for me. The gold hardware and like just the size of the bag are a little big, plus I just tend to wear smaller bags these days. If I were to go back, I love the Caviar leather. That was such a good choice. I'm glad I went with it. But I think I might have gotten silver hardware. I just think the silver hardware looks better in the bigger bags because it's more casual. This just feels like a little bit too dressy and like over the top because it's gold and it's a huge bag and it has like the big Chanel like logo on the front. Another thing, I don't know if you'll be able to see this, I've noticed more recently, but the gold on the front turn lock here is coming off. It's like rubbing off. I haven't seen that on any of my other Chanel bags, so I don't know what's up with this one. But that's two issues I've had with this bag, and usually I have a pretty good track record with bags. Like I take care of them, I don't baby them, so I don't know. This one just likes to have issues, but I still love this bag. I don't think I'd ever sell it because it is my first Chanel bag that I ever purchased in a boutique. The next bag that I purchased, sticking with the LV theme, is the Louis Vuitton Neverfull in the Damier Ebene canvas. This is the MM size. When I first purchased this, originally I wanted to get the Westminster. It was a toss-up between the Westminster or the Neverfull. I'll put a picture if I figure out how to do that. And I think the Westminster is now a discontinued style, but I originally purchased the Westminster because it had the zip top. It was a little bit different because even then I was like, oh, the Neverfull is like everywhere. So at first I purchased the Westminster because, number one, because it had the zipper at the top and I was like, that's a little bit more secure. Number two, because because it was different, and even then I felt like, oh, everybody has the Neverfull, like why should I get that too? I should be different. But I quickly returned the Westminster and went to get the Neverfull instead, because it seemed like the Neverfull, for its size, generally when I get bigger size bags, I like something that's more sort of squishy, has less structure, because if you have a more structured large bag, it's easier to throw, you're going to be throwing it around more, you're going to be stuffing it full of things more, so that means it's going to lose its shape a lot faster. So for me, it was important to have a sort of more squishy bag as a large bag, and I'm so happy I made that decision because I love my Neverfull. I use it not as much as I used to, but I did use it as a work bag for a while, and even so, even though I used it every single day and carried it on the subway and bus and everything, it looks like essentially new. Like there's a little bit of wear on it. Like these, I know the straps tend to have cracks in it. I don't have a lot of cracking. The main thing, if I can find it now, here. So these side straps are starting to split. That shouldn't happen. But it does happen with age, just I guess the way that the leather's bonded together, it's prone to happening. But even so, like you can get it fixed at the Louis Vuitton boutique, but I just decided not to because it doesn't really bother me that much. As you saw, it took me a few seconds to find it, so it's not that obvious. And I love this bag. It's great for weekend trips. I throw everything inside. It's great for work because it fits a laptop, and this bag can carry up to like 200 pounds, which is incredible. So it's really good for just like a huge tote bag that you want to throw anything in. It's waterproof. I don't have to worry about patinaing from the vachetta leather because it's treated, and I love this bag. Even though everybody has it, like honestly it's because it's worth the hype and because it works. It's a great functional bag. The next bag that I technically purchased was my Prada Saffiano double zip tote. It goes by many names. It also goes by the Galleria tote or the BN2274. This was another one of those bags that when I was sort of designing my vision board for bags that I wanted, or my collection, what I wanted my collection to look like, this was one of them. It was on sort of the top 5 bags every woman should own bag list. So that's why I purchased it, and I say this was technically my next bag because I did buy it next after my Neverfull, I think. I'm pretty sure I did buy it after my Neverfull. But I ended up returning it and purchasing my next bag, which I will come to next, instead. And I returned it because I purchased this bag because I wanted it to be a work bag. So I thought it was really professional, and obviously I still do feel this way about it. I think it looks really professional. And because of the Saffiano leather, it makes it really durable. But because of the big sort of boxy shape and the big logo, I know this isn't big by comparison, but for me it's a big logo, I felt like self-conscious and uncomfortable about bringing it to work, especially taking like the subway and bus and stuff. Like it just felt, yes, I might take the bus and subway to work, I'm not fancy. So bringing this huge fancy bag to work, it just sort of didn't jive with me. So I use this bag occasionally for work. I think I can fit my laptop. I've never actually tried because the bag, even with nothing in it, is pretty heavy. So if I were to put a laptop in it as well, I think it would just be like insane. And I purchased a bag shaper because I didn't want it to sag at the bottom. That has really helped to preserve its shape. But I don't reach for this bag as often as I thought I would. And I think back then I saw it too, which was why I returned it. But then I ended up purchasing it again a couple years later. And I don't know, maybe I should have stuck to my guns the first time, because as much as I do love the look of this bag, it's got the crossbody strap and everything, so if I want to carry it crossbody, I can. I just don't really end up reaching for this bag because it feels too like fancy for my work, and it feels a little bit too ostentatious. So I toy with whether I want to sell this one, but for right now it's in my collection. Alright, next bag is the Chanel wallet on chain, caviar leather with gold hardware. This was one of my sort of vision board bags. I knew I wanted it, and when I purchased it, I was like on the fence about returning my Prada Saffiano tote, and I just happened to stop in the Chanel boutique at Holtz because I was there, I'm gonna look around. I'd wanted to add this to my collection and they had one in stock. And like, in that second, I was like, I need to return my Prada Saffiano right now and buy this bag. So that's exactly what I did. I was like, I ran to the Prada boutique, returned my bag, and came back and bought this because I asked the SA, like, do you usually have these in stock? And they were like, I don't know, like maybe, like not really. So this is like a stroke of luck, like it's meant to be. So I bought it right then and there, and I'm so happy I did. I forget how much it was when I first purchased it. I think it was under 2,000 back then, and now, or that was around 2013-ish, I think. And now I looked up this bag recently and it's like almost $4,000, which is insane. And as much as I love this bag, I'm not sure that that's worth it. Like, it's crazy, but I do love this bag. This is honestly a bag that I use constantly whenever I have some sort of a formal event. This is my go-to. It makes a great clutch, just like this. The logo isn't as big, so I feel more comfortable wearing it because it's got so many pockets to help organize. I just love it so much. I hate using card holders, so the fact that this has all the card slots in it just makes it so easy to use. And I love the little back pocket to hide extra things inside. So I can't rave about this bag enough. So glad I got it in Caviar leather. And yeah, this is a great bag. Buy it if you can, but $4,000. So here's where things start to get a little bit fuzzy. I don't remember the exact order that I purchased these next few bags in. This was around, I think, 2014. The Louis Vuitton Eva clutch in the Damier Azur print. So this is a discontinued style from Louis Vuitton, but I wanted it because I wanted sort of the minimalist crossbody bags that Louis Vuitton makes in the canvas. And ideally I wanted to get all 3 canvases, but this was just the first one I started with. I didn't have any white bags yet. Everything was all black and brown, as it still pretty much is. So I wanted something different. I loved the Inventeur plate on the Damier canvases for the Eva clutch. So yeah, I just thought that this was going to be a great bag, like great to wear in summer. And I honestly haven't worn this bag that much. I just find it doesn't quite fit a lot. Although I like mini-sized bags, this just doesn't really fit the things that I want to bring with me, and I don't like sort of how it's so long. I think it looks a little bit weird when worn crossbody that way, like it looks better held as a clutch. But I don't really reach for this. I've worn it on vacation like a couple times, but even so, I don't know. I toy with the idea of selling this, but because it's discontinued and because I don't really have anything else like it, it makes me want to keep it in my collection. But yeah, I don't reach for this one as much, unfortunately. So my next bag, I think I purchased this in 2014 as well. It was early 2014-ish. So maybe the Eva came second. I told you I don't remember the order here. So this is the next bag that I think I purchased. This is the Balenciaga City. I don't remember the exact name. It's the original style. It's not the giant hardware because it has these little tassels on it. I got this bag because I thought it would be great to use for vacation. I love that it has no logos, that it's really smushy, but it's big, so it carries a lot of things. And I didn't want the giant hardware version. It looked a little bit too flashy. I wanted something that was sort of more understated. So I use this bag a decent amount. I often use it if we just go out somewhere and I need to carry, like, to a spa or something, and I need to carry like my swimsuit or like a bottle of water. It's great to just throw everything in it and go. And because it's, again, understated, not everybody knows that this is Balenciaga, that it's a designer purse, and because it's so soft and squishy, it's just easy to carry. I can stuff it in a locker and like not have to worry about bending it out of shape or anything like that. So I do love this bag for that. And now it smells nice because when we were out at an event, I dropped perfume all over it, so now it has a constant smell. But I feel like I don't love this bag as much as I used to. I love that it's kind of edgy and different from other bags that I have, and I love that it's just easy grab and go. But it's not like I reach for this bag like because I love it. It's because it's functional. So it would be great for travel and stuff, like to use as a carry-on, but I don't know. I go back and forth on this bag, and right now I'm sort of currently debating whether I want to sell it. But the resale value is not that great, so... Next on my list is the Celine Nano Luggage Tote. When I first saw this bag, I can't say this for a lot of bags, but when I first saw this bag, I was like, I love it, I need it, I want it. Like, it was a holy grail bag for me as soon as I saw it. I know a lot of people are sort of on the like a robot face, but I didn't see it as a robot face, and I loved the design. I thought it was so like beautiful, and it looked classic to me. So I knew I wanted it in black. And I knew I wanted silver hardware. So I think this was 2015 I purchased this. When I saw it in store, and I knew I wanted the nano size. So when I saw it in store, I was like, have it, need it, want it, get it now. So I got it, and I can honestly say I still love this bag. I think it's great. I'm so glad that I went for the nano size instead of getting one of the larger sizes. I forget the size names, I apologize. But I'm so glad I went for the size because it has the crossbody. So if, here's the crossbody little strap things, or hooks. So if I want to wear it crossbody, then I can throw that on and run. If I want to just hold it by the top handles, then I can do that too. And it's a small bag, but it fits a ton, so I can fit like everything that I need for when I usually go out on the weekend with this. And I just honestly love this bag. I'm glad I bought it. If I were to go back, I do like the black, but I think I may have gotten like a different color, like a beige or a taupey type color, but I'm still happy with this one, so I wear it a lot. Yeah, one of my go-tos. So my next bag was the Chanel Boy, purchased in Paris when I went in 2016. Oh, actually maybe that means my Celine luggage was also in 2016 because I think I bought it in the same year. I told you I don't know where anything is anymore. So this is the Chanel Boy with ruthenium hardware and the chevron style with calfskin leather. I knew it when I first found out I was going to Paris. I was like, well, I have to buy Chanel, duh. So we went to the boutique, and even before we went, I knew this was the bag I wanted. I knew I wanted a boy. I ideally wanted it to be ruthenium hardware, and I ideally wanted it to be a chevron print. Chevron, I don't know what you call it, chevron style, because I had a bunch of other like quilted styles, so I thought like this would be a nice change. So I went to the boutique and I saw it sitting there on a shelf, and I was hanging around it, looking around at the essays, hopefully being like, okay, someone can help me now because I'm ready. But when I travel, well, especially back then, I sort of dressed a little bit bummish. Like, I wasn't, styling or anything. I had like a denim jacket and probably denim pants on too, or maybe jeggings. I had like a little coat crossbody because I didn't want to be too loud or anything. So they were probably like, who's this girl wanting to buy, like, who's this girl in the boutique? So I touched the bag, and a security guard rushed over and was like, Ms. Ma'am, please don't touch the bag. I was like, okay, well, I want to buy it. So then finally they sent someone over. It was the last one in the boutique. While it was sitting there and the essay that I was working with was preparing the receipts and everything, or the payment and everything, it was sat there on the counter, and then another woman came by and started looking at it and touching the bag and like saying like, oh, I want to buy this, but the essay was like, no, this girl, me, already bought it. And I was like, oh, it was meant to be, like, this was meant to be. And so after that, like, my experience in that boutique purchasing this, I still do genuinely love this bag. I think that it's just sort of like casual and so comfy to wear. I haven't found any of the issues that other people say about it, like bowing or anything. I love the size. I think it's perfect for what I wear on a daily basis. I love this bag. I have no regrets, and I have a great little story to go with it too, so it's perfect. I love it. The next bag technically that I bought was the large Celine Trio. I say technically because, again, I purchased this bag in Paris as well. It was a little bit like when I was going to Paris, I knew that I wanted the Chanel Boy in the chevron style. That was like I'd wanted it for a while. I knew that was going to be my next purchase. This was I don't want to say impulse, because when I say impulse for a luxury bag, it still means like I was thinking about it for at least a couple months. But comparatively, I wasn't thinking about the trio that much for that long before I purchased it. But I was in Paris and it would have been a good deal to get the large, so I purchased it there. And then if you guys have seen my video that I posted on the Celine trio, I wasn't a fan of it at the time. After I purchased it, I just sort of realized like it felt too delicate for casual use, and so I sold it. And then I decided that a couple years later, like it took a while for me to realize like, hey, I actually love this bag. I don't know why I sold it. I was crazy. So I purchased it on Fashion File. And this version is a little bit more loved than the one that I sold, which has me a little bit miffed, but at the same time, it also gives me a little bit of peace, the same way that the Chanel Vintage flap did, is because it already has a little bit of love to it. So I don't have to worry as much about damage that I do. And I took this bag on our trip to Japan and Taiwan last year, and it was just such a godsend. Like I love this bag so much. I regret ever selling it, but I'm happy that it's back in my life. It's so convenient. It's absolutely great for travel because it fits so much, but it squishes down completely. And I love that it's so understated, so it doesn't like stand out, and it's great for travel that way. So I don't have to carry my little Coach crossbody with me anymore. Yeah, so I love this bag. I wish I'd kept the one that I bought in Paris, but it was a choice, and we have to live with our choices and move forward and not live with regrets. The next bag that I purchased was my Gucci Disco Soho. I purchased this, I think, in 2016 as well, and as soon as I purchased it, it was like my go-to bag. I wore it all the time to do groceries, to go shop, to do like everything, to go out. Like, I think it's really versatile in that way, and it's like indestructible. Like the leather, because it's grained, it's really I don't know, just like durable, and it's great for travel. I brought it when we went to Japan and the Philippines in 2018, and it's great because it's also a little bit dressy, even though it's like durable, which was what I was looking for when I first purchased my Celine trio, and that's ultimately why I ended up selling it, because this sort of fit the bill a little bit better. That being said, lately I haven't really worn this bag, and I think like since I repurchased my Celine trio, I just sort of realized like I liked that better than I like this. The Celine trio, large trio, does fit more than this, and I like that it's a little bit more understated. This, while it's not as like obvious as like a monogram, Chanel monogram or something, the embossed double G logo still does stand out. And it's easy to flip around, like there's nothing on the back, but I don't know, I'm not as into this bag as I used to be, so I've toyed with selling it, but I also feel like there are times when I wouldn't want to bring the trio. Like, I think the trio is still a little bit more delicate than this. This I'd bring to like Disney or something. I'd feel more comfortable about it versus the trio, because I feel like it's a little bit, I don't know, it's a little bit more delicate than this. So I've tried with selling it, but I'm not sure. But this is still an incredibly popular bag. It has the older G logo, which I like. I don't really like the new one, I'll be honest, the new Marmont logo. And yeah, I don't know. I'm holding on to it for now, but we'll see. The next bag I purchased moving into 2017 was the Chloe Drew in the Maudie Gray color. I forget what size this is. I think it's called a small. And I purchased this because my brother was getting married, so I thought this would be a great bag to wear instead of my Chanel medium large flap, which is what I usually use for weddings and formal events and stuff. I actually wore the Chanel medium large flap instead. So this was purchase was kind of for moot at that time, but I still honestly love this bag. I know Chloe goes in and out of style because the bags, their bags are always sort of released to all the influencers, and then everybody buys it and everyone's in love with it, and then it just crashes and burns because everybody was in love with it at the same time, and it's just like everyone's over it at the same time. But this bag I feel is really classic to me. I don't have any grays like this, and I think this gray is so versatile. Like, it literally goes with everything. I don't understand how. It goes with blues, it goes with greens, with reds, with black, whites. Like, it's just so versatile, and I love the chain strap because it's just like it looks like this, and it just looks sort of like jewelry, so it's like you're wearing jewelry on a bag at the same time. Yeah, I love this bag so much. It's now my sort of alternate go-to if I want to wear more colors for like a wedding or a special event or something. I use this instead of my black Chanel medium large flap. And yeah, it's great for summer too. So I am in love with this bag. I'm so happy I purchased it, even if it's not really in style anymore. I think like it's a really classic design. It's kind of sort of like 70s inspired for me, and I love the 70s fashion. So yeah, I love this bag. The next bag I purchased was the Fendi Peekaboo. If you've seen my channel, I feel like you may have discovered it by my Fendi Peekaboo, micro Peekaboo videos, and I was talking about how much I love it, how functional it is, and what fits. And I still like this bag, I still love it, but it's not that functional. It doesn't fit a ton, so I find if I use it, it means I have to empty everything else out. Like I have to empty my usual wallet I use, have to empty my key clay that I use, and stick everything in here. So it definitely fits, like it's functional in that way, and I love the color because blue is my favorite color. But usually when I buy a bag these days, my criteria is that the things that I normally use have to fit without me having to rearrange things. For that reason, I don't like this bag that much, plus it doesn't fit my phone, so that's kind of annoying. But I find these days, like usually I have a pocket or something I can slip it into, so if I do, then that works. But yeah, it's just, it's not... I love that this comes off and I can stick it on a bigger bag. So I have used it for like overnights and stuff, where this is just like a little grab and go bag. If I were to go back, I would have purchased a larger size. I think the sizes that I was looking at the time, I wanted the bigger one, the one size up. I forget the names, I apologize. I didn't want black. There was a color called Dove that was nice, but it was like weird for me. Like it was a sort of a grayish taupey, but it wasn't as nice as like the Celine, the Chloe Drew sort of muddy gray. It was like a weird sort of washed out gray that made me look washed out, so I didn't like it. So I think at the time I was like, well, I love blue, like I'll get something fun this size, but it was way too much money for what it is. I wish, even like the larger sizes are too much money, I feel, for what they are. Like they were around $4,000 when I purchased it, but sorry, when I was looking to purchase, and I was just like, I can't justify spending that on Fendi. Like I'd rather buy something from Chanel if that's the case. So I settled for this, and I do still like it. Like I think it's a really nice pop of color for summertime, and I do wear it like that, but it was not maybe my best purchase, unfortunately. The next bag that I purchased, I think this was in 2017, was the Louis Vuitton Favorite in the Damier Ebene color. This bag is incredible. It truly is like my favorite bag. It's probably my most used LV bag these days. I love that it's sort of understated because it doesn't have the monogram. I've always loved the damier print. Well, not always, but now I love the damier print a little bit more since I purchased my Neverfull. I love that it's got like the magnetic little flap. I think I'm just drawn to flap bags in general because they're really comfy to wear and easy to wear, and that's the definition of this bag. It's really easy to wear, so if I'm just doing like groceries or something, this is easy to throw on. If I'm volunteering, then this is easy to use because it fits all my essentials. It's small, it's out of the way, and I love that it has a shorter strap. I think that's one of the things that I don't like about the Eva clutch is that the strap is so incredibly long, and I like bags to sit a little bit higher on me, so my favorite, or the favorite, is clearly my favorite. And yeah, it was one of those that like wasn't in boutique for a long time, and then I just happened to walk in one day and they had one, and I was like, okay, done, getting it. And this is the medium size, by the way. I think I forgot to mention that, but yeah, I love this bag. Like I said, the favorite is my favorite. The next bag that I purchased, this is going into 2018 now, is the Louis Vuitton Keepall 45. I purchased this at the same time that I purchased my mini Palm Springs. I'd been eyeing it for a while. I really wanted something that was like a big travel duffel, and it was in stock. It was the last one they had when I was purchasing my Palm Springs, so I was like, okay, done getting that too. And I don't have the Palm Springs with me anymore, but I still have the Keepall. I can unfortunately count though on one hand the number of times I've used this. I've used it for like weekend trips and going away and that sort of thing. I have not managed to use it when I've traveled on a plane. I think I just get nervous that I'll be asked to check it or that it's going to get damaged by throwing it in an overhead or that sort of thing. So I just haven't used it yet, or I also get nervous about like leaving it in a hotel, because sometimes we check into a hotel but they're not, like the room's not ready, so I can't put things there, so it's going to be sticking out, like lying there for anybody to see, even though I went with the Damier Ebene print, which I'm so glad I did. Yeah, I just get really nervous about using this bag in those situations, so I haven't used it for plane travel yet. I've just sort of used it for like road trips and stuff, and it's been great for that. Like, it fits a lot, it fits everything I need for like a couple days or even a week. So I do like this bag and I do want to keep it. I just find I'm not using it as much as I would have liked to. Originally I wanted the Macassar print, so it's like the Louis Vuitton canvas with the black, it's not vachetta leather, it's just black sort of treated leather. I love the look of that one, but I would have felt even more uncomfortable just because like the monogram sort of makes me uncomfortable to wear these days. So I'm glad I went with the Damier Ebene, plus it matches my favorite and my Neverfull, so they're sort of easy to wear together, and I have like a travel set if I want to use it that way. The next bag that I purchased was the Louis Vuitton Pochette Accessoires. Some people may consider this an SLG, I guess it kind of is, but I used it, I have always used it more as a bag. Occasionally I use it as a catch-all in my bigger bags, like usually with my Neverfull, but I guess not often. I wanted this bag because I wanted to complete my trifecta of like mini canvas bags from Louis Vuitton, but as I've mentioned before, wearing the monogram makes me a little bit uncomfortable, so I don't really reach for this. I've used it a couple times when I've been volunteering or just like going out and stuff, but it also doesn't come with its own strap, so I've always had to use the strap from my Eva clutch or my favorite clutch, or this like gold chain that I purchased from Etsy or eBay, I forget which one. So that's another annoying thing about it. But it is cheaper if you're looking for sort of a starter Louis Vuitton item to get your feet wet. So I've toyed with the idea of selling this. I think I might, just because I don't use it. I do want to pare down my collection to things that I truly love. So this one's a little bit on the chopping block, and yeah, I guess we'll see what happens. So moving into my first purchase of 2019, it was the Chanel GST Grand Shopping Tote in caviar leather with gold hardware. Originally I wanted this in silver hardware, but because this bag has been discontinued for many years, several years from Chanel, I knew it was going to be harder to find, and the condition may not be the best and pricing could be difficult. So when I saw this on the pre-loved market, I went for it, and I do love this bag. I do love it. Like the Chanel Jumbo, it lets me live the hills like fantasy realness. Kristen Cavallari had this bag back in the day. I don't know if she still does, but she wore it all the time back then, and that was like one of the big things that convinced me I wanted this bag. I love how it looks. I love how it's not understated, but kind of understated it is. I love that it has the back pocket. It has a lot of organization inside. It's full of stuffing, but it's got a lot of pockets inside. I think that's one of the great things about Chanel in general, is that there's always great organization within the bag, so it's easy to use. And I love this bag, but I don't use it a lot. because it's really big and because it's really structured, it's easy to damage. Because if you, as I've mentioned before, like if you throw a lot of things in it, if you throw it around, obviously it's going to get damaged a lot easier. So for that reason, I don't wear it that much. Plus I just usually wear smaller bags like I've mentioned. So yeah, I've toyed with selling it. I don't want to because I love it. It may just be one of those things that sort of sits in my closet because I wanted it so long and couldn't buy it back then because I wanted to buy other things like my flaps first, and I just lost my chance to buy it in the boutique. But I still love this bag. I feel like it may just be one of those like childhood nostalgia things that I keep in my collection and use occasionally because it looks so badass when I do. The next bag that I purchased was my Chanel Reissue 225 with the calfskin, black calfskin leather and ruthenium hardware. I love this bag. I started seeing it on one of the girls that I follow on Instagram, and she wore it for everything. Like she wore it for travel, she wore it just for every day, and like I see why, because it's so great. Like everything that I wasn't sure I loved about my Chanel medium large flap in the lambskin is everything that I love about this. Like I love the cut of the bag, the style of the bag, the numerous pockets, as I just mentioned with my Chanel GST. Like I love that about Chanel, but that there's tons of pockets always in the bag, no matter the size. So it makes it very easy to organize things. But like with the lambskin medium large flap, I wasn't sure about, like it feels a little bit more delicate, feels a little bit more ostentatious because of the logo. This, it has no logo. There's only a very small like Chanel written here, so unless you're looking closely at the bag or you know what it is, you wouldn't know. And I love the calfskin leather because it's like indestructible, just like the Caviar, it's like indestructible. So even though I've only had this bag for a year, like I'm in love with it. It just fits everything. It's a little bit smaller than the medium large flap, but I'm okay with that because it still fits all my essentials that I carry with me on a daily basis. And get this, it's collapsible, so it's great for travel too. I haven't used it for travel because it was just a little bit too new to me and I felt nervous about it, so I didn't want to bring it. Plus I had the Celine Trio, which I thought would carry more and be a little more carefree, but I definitely am considering bringing this in the future for traveling because I just love this bag so much. It's so easy to use. And yeah, I love this bag. It was a great purchase. I wish I'd purchased it sooner because the price that I purchased it for was insane. But these are also pretty plentiful on the pre-loved market from what I understand. So if you are looking for one or if you're now interested in one, I'd also recommend looking at the pre-loved market because there seem to be quite a few there in pretty good condition. But no regrets with this bag. I love it. The next bag that I purchased was the Chanel Gabrielle in the small size. I believe this may now be the mini because they've introduced like an in-between size with the large or something. This is with the beige and black combination calfskin leather. Technically, no, I did buy this. This is the right order. So I purchased this just after I purchased the Chanel Reissue. Last year, I saw the Chanel Gabrielle for the first time and I fell in love. I thought it was great because it was like casual Chanel. I saw it on Alyssa Lenore and I was like sold. So I went to the store one day and I didn't have a relationship with the SA or anything. And I was just like, I'm looking for this bag. Like I really want to try it on. I'm not looking to necessarily buy right now. I wanted it in black. So they said, we don't have it in black, but you can try on the beige. And like I didn't have any beige bags and I still don't really. This is my only one. So I was like, okay, yeah, I'll try this on, and I kind of fell in love with the beige. I was like, this is great. But I didn't want to buy it just yet because I wanted the black. So I put my name down and they said they'd call me if they got a black one. A couple days later, lo and behold, they got a black one in store. So I rushed to the store and I still tried on the beige a little bit again just to see like, do I actually like the beige better than the black? I felt like because I had so many black bags and because I just never had beige before, like it would be a nice change, and this one seemed to stand out a little bit more than the black. But I bought the black, I took it home, tried it on with things, and I was like, it's fine, but it doesn't really pop. It didn't make my heart sing. Like when I thought of the beige, it was like the beige would make my heart sing, and I spent all that time, like photoshopping pictures of people with the Gabrielle in the beige and in the black. So if it was beige, I'd Photoshop it black. If it was black, I'd Photoshop it with the beige to be this combination to see like which one looked better, and overwhelmingly I felt like the beige looked better. So, but I was like, I don't know, like maybe it's not for me. Like I didn't really like the opening either, because it was a little bit too like, it's kind of like the Dior, Lady Dior, and it's not as easy to get in and out of. So I was like, you know what, I like the beige, but I'm just gonna return it for now and see like how I feel. So I couldn't actually return it. I had to exchange it for something else. So I was like, well, perfect. I want the Chanel reissue anyway. I've been wanting that for a while, so I got that instead. Returned the black Gabrielle and got the reissue. Fell in love with the reissue, but couldn't stop thinking about the Gabrielle. So I went back a couple weeks later. Luckily, they still had one in beige and purchased it. I know you probably don't want my life story, but here it is anyway. And I love this bag. Used it a lot last year. But I find I'm not reaching for it as much now. I just feel like, I don't know. I think I've just sort of fallen out of love with it a little bit. I think it's a great bag, but something about it to me just doesn't grab my heart anymore. I think I really just love flat bags. That's what I just generally gravitate to. Or if it's like a sort of an top opening like this, I want handles. So right now I'm really thinking of the Lady Dior. It's always been on my wish list, but I've never gotten it. But I don't know. I go back and forth on this bag. I feel like it might be time to sell it because I just don't reach for it and it doesn't like excite me anymore, but we'll see. I don't know. It's really disheartening because I've only had it for like a year and already I'm like, I don't know how I feel about it. So it's sad, but it is what it is. So the next bag I purchased was my Prada Vela bag in the nylon fabric and black color. I purchased this because I wanted a vacation bag, a vacation like backpack, to replace my MCM Stark. You've probably seen me mention the Stark on my channel before. It was a really good travel bag for what it was, but the logos everywhere, like the monogram, made me a little bit self-conscious again, and I didn't like that it was like pretty stiff. So it was hard to fit as many things in it, and it was hard to sort of squish and move around. This bag solves all those problems. The logo is more understated. It fits a ton because it is so soft and can expand, and it squishes. So this was so much more comfortable to like bring on a plane because I actually had leg room instead of having to accommodate for my MCM bag. And I really like this bag. I brought it last year when we went to Japan and Taiwan, and it was just so comfortable to wear, and because it's waterproof I don't have to worry about it at all. Like I was debating between this or like the LV Monsterie, but I think I've learned my lesson with Monogram. Clearly I've gone through that a couple times in this list. So yeah, I am happy with this purchase. I love it, and I plan to use it many more times to come. So moving into 2020 now, my first purchase of 2020, my bag purchase, was the Hermes Evelyne in the, this is the 29 size in a taupe. I've wanted this bag for a while. When I first thought I wanted it, I thought it would be like the perfect mom bag, and I'm not a mom yet, and I don't plan to be one soon, for a couple of years at least. But I just sort of, like, I think last year I was bitten by, so 2018 was the Louis Vuitton bug, 2019 was the Chanel bug, and 2020 is the year of the Hermes bug. I have purchased things from Hermes before, but this is my first bag, and I think I am converted. I just am sort of in love with Hermes things now. So this bag, I first went to look at it in July of last year, but I had other things on my wish list at the time, and I just didn't have like the money saved up for it yet, so I passed on it. Went to look in December, and of course they didn't have any because everything sold out in December because everyone's buying Hermes gifts for their wives. And I put my name down with an amazing essay, and lo and behold, in February, it came in store, and I like rushed to the store to get it because I knew I wanted this. And I can honestly say This is such a great bag. The leather is like beautiful. It's so soft and supple. I feel like Heidi from RuPaul's Drag Race, if anyone's watching season 12 right now. It's such a comfortable crossbody bag. Like it's so comfortable. That's the best way I can put it. I know a lot of people feel like it doesn't look very polished or anything, but I think that's what I loved about it, that it's that casual bag that I can wear like for groceries and stuff. So even though I've been sort of socially isolating at home, like I've still been wearing this bag a lot. Whenever we go out to groceries or something like that, I just throw it on and it's easy because it carries everything, and I love that it has the pocket in the back. Actually, sorry, this is the front. Even though it has the pocket at the front, like it's great because I can use it to separate things, and I have 2 compartments to put things in. So I love this bag. I think I'm going to be using it for travel. It will definitely be a mommy bag because it's just like perfect, and I love the color. It's not black because everything else that I own is black essentially, even my clothes. So this is just such a nice like departure, and I can't wait to wear this even more and more. And lastly, the most recent purchase that I've made was my Garden Party 30 by Hermes in the black Negonda leather. This was another bag that I relatively recently became obsessed with. This girl that I follow on Instagram called Simply Tokyo, this is like her absolute favorite bag, and I can see why. Originally I didn't want to purchase this until a little bit later in the year, but I saw it pop up online, and I like, with everything going on, I wasn't sure if I'd be able to purchase it later, or who knows how long it would take. So I was like, well, I know this, I want this bag, so I might as well get it because it's online. And I'm so happy I did. I've only had this bag for a couple weeks now, but I've been using it like whenever we go out to do groceries, etc., to pick up food. It's so light. It's so incredibly light. Like when I picked it up out of the bag or the box for the first time, it felt like I was holding air. Like it has no weight in itself. Which is amazing. The only reason it's heavy right now and it looks like I'm struggling is because there's already things in it. So I've stuffed it full of things, but it still feels really, really light. So I love this bag. I love that it has like no big logos or anything. The Negonda leather will soften over time, which I'm okay with. I think I do want to get a bag shaper, so it helps to keep the structure a little bit and helps to keep things a little bit more structured, within the bag, so I'm not like digging around for things. But yeah, I'm so excited to have this bag, and I have loved using it so far. And it's great. Originally I was debating whether to get the 36 size, but I don't use big bags that often. This just seemed like a good in-between size. So yeah, I actually might also replace my Prada Saffiano with this, just because I don't reach for it anymore, and because this is so much more understated, but it still fits a lot of stuff. It may be my new sort of fancy work bag if I need to go for a special occasion. So that's everything in my collection. Thank you for sticking through it. That was quite a long video. So once again, I hope everyone stays safe, stay healthy, stay informed, and thank you for watching. If there's any videos you want to see from me, if there's something that I have shown here that you want to learn more about, please let me know. I'm always looking for more content. I have more videos lined up, but I'm not sure when they'll get out, hopefully soon. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a great day. Bye.